Thank you, Dilgira, and my deepest gratitude to all of you for joining us today. This is a charity-oriented session in that we're trying to raise some money for Trevor Project in the United States. But of course, the invitation there for all of us is to consider the different ways of supporting marginalized communities across the globe. And that, of course, includes the areas in which we might be finding ourselves. And providing that support, financial or in terms of our attention, in terms of our time, in terms of the kind words that we might be using and so forth, is the behavioral part of our training that we all collectively, as a community oriented towards wisdom and compassion, might want to eventually undertake. But there's also the cognitive side of this training in which we're trying to cultivate the qualities of compassion, wisdom, loving kindness, and so forth. And that's exactly what we will do in this meditation today, focusing on three interpenetrating or integrated qualities of profound ease, also referred to as rest or relaxation, tenderness, described in the Tibetan Buddhist psychology as a general warm-heartedness available to us at all times, but sometimes obscured by the different afflictive mental states. It's the quality that's referred to as tsewa in Tibetan language, sometimes translated simply as love or affection. We'll connect with that and eventually going into the fully crystallized state of loving kindness, which is the wish for us and for all the other beings to experience genuine well-being and have the causes of that well-being. So there will be a natural progression from a general state of ease, which of course is always welcome, probably for most of us, towards loving kindness proper. And although this meditation and the language around it would be completely universal, many of the people present here probably identify as allies. Some of those present identify as being somewhere on the queer spectrum. And regardless of where we are and how we identify, these three qualities would be of great support to us, and they form a very important aspect of the Tibetan Buddhist path and a very important aspect of secular training for those of us interested in that vector of practice. So this will be a more or less elaborate meditation with just a little bit of time somewhere in the middle to shift our position, to stretch a tiny bit if needed, because of course we all have different physical needs. But roughly speaking, we will do about 2 sessions, one about 10 minutes for the quality of ease, and then one about 15 minutes for tenderness and loving kindness combined. So there will be a very short break in the middle to move a tiny bit if you need to. And with that, I would just invite all of us to find a comfortable stationary position that would support us in this practice, especially for its first half of about 10 minutes. And I would also like to mention that you're very welcome to keep your camera on if that feels comfortable, to share your presence and your embodiment with others, or to turn your camera off if that feels more intimate. And equally, this practice can be done in the upright position, sitting comfortably with your legs crossed or with your feet flat on the ground, or it can equally be done in the supine position, lying flat on our back. And of course, if our body needs something unique with regards to its position, we need a slightly different way of positioning the body to support our meditation. That's also absolutely fine. We honor that by finding a position that would include the qualities of rest and stability. And so the first thing we do once we have adjusted the different parts of our body is bringing our awareness into the domain of the body, into the depths of the body, where we start noticing the physical sensations. It's perfectly fine to keep our eyes open or closed for this practice, whatever feels most supportive right now. But if our eyes are open, we're just placing our gaze in the space in front, not focusing on any specific visual object. Because a large part of our awareness is focused on the tactile sensations in the body, especially in the parts of the body that are currently in contact with the ground, with the earth beneath us. For some of us, that would be primarily our feet, the outer side of our legs, our buttocks. And we just explore the sensations in all of those areas, noticing them, observing them, and gradually releasing tension from the associated muscle groups. Finding a state of ease in our feet and toes, the lower half of our legs, around the knee, then in our thighs, and in the pelvic floor, checking to see if there's any unnecessary tension there that we can still release. And then coming up to our abdominal area, to our lower back. And once again, releasing muscle tension with each new exhalation. And noticing the arising tactile sensations with the inhalation. Then exploring our chest, the sensations, the experiences in our back, our shoulders, and then going down our arms through the elbow to our hands and fingers. Establishing a profound sense of ease and stillness there. Releasing all the types of movement. And then coming back to our shoulders, exploring the sensations in our neck, then the back of our head, our crown, and our face. And then expanding the field of awareness to include the entirety of the body. All of the tactile experiences associated with this entire field of energy that is right now breathing, expanding and contracting ever so slightly with each new cycle of breathing. Observing these tactile waves, these tactile fluctuations, and allowing them to wash away all the different types of tension and all the deliberate types of movement, so that we can experience a more profound state of relaxation, stillness, and at the same time vigilance that allows us to stay awake, to not fall asleep during this practice. This process of releasing tension and establishing stillness is combined with a similar type of release on the level of our speech, allowing us to experience a state of silence. And since our mind is focused on these sensations arising in the here and now, it is gradually releasing thoughts and ideas associated with our past, with our future, with the excessive analysis of the present moment. And that allows us to reach a more profound state of mental spaciousness. This preliminary exercise, sometimes referred to as settling our body, speech, and mind in their natural states, or connecting to the qualities of stillness, silence, and spaciousness, allows us to experience a greater degree of ease, which can then be used for the main part of the practice. And if at this stage we need to move a tiny bit, to stretch, to shift the position of our legs and so forth, we can do that right now. Or we can just continue resting as we approach the second half of this meditation. And once we have found a comfortable stationary position once again, once we have resumed the process of natural breathing, washing away all the different types of inner and outer tension, our next step is to establish a vast and profound positive motivation for this practice by thinking of our highest values and thinking of our highest aspirations. What are my highest goals, spiritual or psychological? related to myself, related to my communities, related to all beings. May you take a moment to establish a clear resolve, orienting this practice towards the fulfillment of those aspirations. May this practice of tenderness and loving kindness contribute to that. And these aspirations of ours can, of course, include or entail greater degrees of social justice, inclusivity, well-being for all who live. And then with that resolve as the foundation, we go into the actual practice of tenderness or affectionate warmth, known as tsewa in Tibetan. And to begin that, we first turn our attention to ourselves as a person. A person undertaking this practice, associated with this body, associated with this mind, associated with this personal history. We can think of the different unique traits related to our identity, our embodiment, our social position, and so forth. And at the same time, try to attend to ourselves with non-judgmental acceptance and warmth. Attending to the very core of our being, our vulnerable heart that wants to be happy and that wants to avoid suffering. And also has the potential to realize those aspirations, or to realize them to a greater degree than now. Be more happy, have greater freedom from suffering. So we hold this very being in our tender, affectionate awareness. As if a newborn kitten or a newborn child was placed in our hands. And with all our might, with our heart, with our gaze, we were trying to project a sense of warmth and acceptance, a sense of safety. So we spend some moments attending to ourselves in this manner. And if we wish, we can use the natural process of breathing to strengthen the quality of warmth. Bringing greater intensity to just the general sense of caring, of non-indifference. And at the same time, allowing our being to be fully nourished and nurtured. And then we allow this foundational quality of tenderness to crystallize into a more clearly defined state of loving kindness. The wish for a being to have happiness and the causes of happiness. And so to activate that, we think, may I be happy and have the causes of happiness. And we rest with this wish, strengthening it, returning to it again and again. And once again, allowing it to nurture our basic goodness and to stream from our basic goodness. If we wish, we can also explore the particular facets of loving kindness by, for example, wishing, may I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. Peaceful, healthy, happy, living with ease. Allowing ourselves to truly absorb these wishes and aspirations. And then, without necessarily losing this loving kindness towards ourselves, we can think of a specific community to which we belong, one of our communities. It can be our family, our chosen family, our extended family. It can be our spiritual community. Or simply all the beings residing in the same region. But we think of a circle of beings and turning our attention towards them, we try to first connect to the same quality of tenderness that we have already explored. As if the vulnerable core, the vulnerable heart of all of these beings became the object of our attention. As if all these beings were vulnerable about their foundational wish to be happy and safe, to be free from suffering. And as if we had the incredible spaciousness of mind that can hold all of those wishes and honor them. So resting in this experience of tender, affectionate attention. And if we wish, strengthening it, making it stronger with each new exhalation. And then allowing that tenderness to crystallize into loving kindness. May we have happiness and the causes of happiness. Sending this wish, this aspiration to all the members of the community that we have chosen as the object. May we be happy. Or to elaborate on that a little bit, may we be peaceful. May we be healthy. May we be happy. May we live with ease. And then finally allowing the same quality of tenderness to now be boundlessly open to all beings, to all who live, because all beings, just like us, want to be happy and free from suffering. Holding all beings in this tender, affectionate awareness, attending to their vulnerable core, not the surface level where their afflictions, habits, views, and so forth reside, but the very core itself that wants to be happy and has the potential to be fully free, to reach awakening. As if our awareness became a boundless field of affectionate energy, holding everyone with equal tenderness, with an equal sense of caring. And then making that step, that final step into loving kindness proper. May all beings be happy and have the causes of happiness. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be happy. May all beings live with ease. Resting with this aspiration and breathing life into it. And then just to create that auspicious interdependence, spending some moments imagining a state in which all beings have actually realized their full potential, their potential for awakening, wisdom, compassion, joy. And where all the types of interaction, all the types of connection can only bring well-being, prosperity, happiness. Inclusion as opposed to exclusion. All based on a profound understanding of interdependence or interbeing. And then releasing the aspirations, the wishes, the images, the thoughts, to simply rest in a state of open spaciousness, open clarity with no particular reference point. But perhaps still with an afterglow of our loving kindness, an aftertaste. And then allowing that afterglow to transform into the actual thoughts of dedication for our practice. Dedicating the effort and the energy of this meditation to, once again, our highest spiritual or psychological aspirations. And then also to all the beings that might need our help right now. Individuals, communities, countries, regions, species. Mentally sending out those waves of loving kindness into the depths of our mind and into the network of interdependence of which we are a part. And then bringing our awareness back to the body to observe the sensations for a little while, to ground ourselves there. And then introducing just a tiny bit of movement by rocking back and forth, or moving our fingers, or smiling to activate our facial muscles. And with that, slowly concluding our practice and coming back to the space around us. Thank you. It's been lovely to do these practices with you. It's always lovely to revisit them. It's always lovely to be with Tibet House. So a deep bow of gratitude from me to all of you for joining this meditation, to Dilgira for hosting us today, to Tibet House for serving as the umbrella for our joint practice. And if you have any time later this month and in the forthcoming months, we have some other programs and classes planned. Just gonna drop the links into the chat. We have a class on Waitara practice coming up. We have a full program on the introduction to Tibetan Buddhism through the lens of 4 states of consciousness that we experience in daily life and that we might want to harness to experience greater states of awakening. And finally, an 18-hour long course on cultivating emotional balance coming up in October as well. So if any of that is interesting, just explore the different offerings on the Tibet House website, and I'll be very happy to see all of you again. And for now, once again, deep bows of gratitude from my side, and wishing you all a beautiful day and a beautiful Pride Month. Thank you so much, and hoping to see you soon.
Thank you, Lobsang, for the beautiful